And after that, if it has core damage on that, that's like a bigger win. Priority to go vulnerable, critical strike damage, and core skill damage for me. Critical strike damage with imbued skills is a bit hyper-specific, though. It's more like, oh, it's cool, but it's not the best thing. Even though it has critical strike damage. Let me open another dungeon. Lightning damage, fire damage, nudging enemies. Poisonous evade. Cross damage. Quick killer. If you're trying to add me right now, crossplay is off. If you're trying to join party or trade me, I don't know if that makes a difference. Ali, do you still change any of the emotes for other people? Because I just saw the black and white concern, and it made me remember that. Can you do it to follow emotes too, or is it just subbed emotes? Don't think it's an upgrade.
Look.
Vulnerable damage overpower. Yeah, technically no. I would have to reroll the frozen enemies. Like, it has potential. But I have to reroll the which is not like impossible, by the way. Oh my gosh, I'm about to die. Can't move. Almost died to a scorpion. Compared to my current one, I also have to take with a grain of salt because I upgraded my crossbow up to 5. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah, he actually has almost capped out movement speed. If I kill elite, it's definitely maxed out. If I evade at any point, it's maxed out, but currently it's like at 162% at base. Yeah, 162%. I need to ask Jeremy Lady if she's playing any new games when I get the chance. I'll probably send her a text or a Discord message. I think she would enjoy Disney Dreamlight. What are your thoughts on having to start a new character every season? For me, I'm not a hardcore Diablo person. The only reason I would probably be more inclined to play it is if my performance improved in game. The heck hit me? Like something randomly blew me up. What's your thoughts on it? Because I'm not super big on games like this. And like if I'm struggling to play with other people, it makes it even harder for me to enjoy it. Especially if it has co-op function to it. It's just like, what's the point? It's just here for fun, I guess. But then I can't even enjoy the fun. I think it's standard. PoE has the same thing. You bum rush stuff that's meta, and then after 4 weeks, everyone stops playing. Yeah, that's the tough part. Like, I'm curious how different the season would be once they introduce it to Diablo 4. More poison. More Ovaltine, please. Wow. What is bursting me randomly, though? I think that's what's catching me off guard. Wait, why all the way back here?
I need more time.
Like, I don't mind grinding. It's just like, if the performance is what it is right now, where I lag to death sometimes, then it gets a little awkward. Selling for imagine dying. Yeah, I'm technically supposed to die in one shot. It's more like I'm curious what's killing me to that extent. I can't tell if it's the red circle. Oh my gosh. Or the explosions for the bloated enemies, like randomly bursting me down. It's like something else is hitting me, but I can't tell. It might be that guy. Cause it's like I'm chilling at half health, and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta gauge of like how hard they hit me. But holy heck, dude. I don't know how much damage the red circle does to me too. It's not a high level of dungeon either. Like, I can see myself dying more to like an 86 dungeon and stuff like that. This one is like pretty fine. I think it's more or less the red circles in conjunction to like what else they have. Holy heck, dude. I can't out sustain the damage they put on me in combination with it. What the heck? I guess they spawn on death? Yes, they spawn on death. So I have to look out for when they die. Can never tell if you're shaken because you're cold, scared, or general anxiety. Can't tell. The dog's sleeping, like curled up near my foot right now. Roshiki is back on. Thought he would be immersed in the Final Fantasy 16. Do you play games like this often, Ali? That's another concept too. Mainly just story games or shooters. Oh yeah, I forgot you're like Chris Kyle when you play Apex Legends. Oh nice, I got a new horse mount. Oh, about to level up soon. Enjoying the story. So dark. That's because you gotta open your windows some. Open the blinds to your windows. It'll help a bit. It'll help a bit. The Asylum side quest was great too. Yeah, they have some pretty solid side quests in this. I'm not gonna lie. There's some that just speaks to you, and then there's some that you're just like, don't know about this. Not sure. One point. And another incoming. What do we got? What do we got? Nudging, evade, frost damage. Which is probably faster from here. Do you have any plans this evening, Allie? Hanging out with family? Chopping it up with a significant other? The Annihilator.
Need more time.
Oh, I sense a lag spike. Feels good, man.
Need more time.
Can I just skip over? Yeah, what kind of line mark was that? I could literally just walk across. They wanted me to go the whole loop. Look at like Apple Maps for a second. Going to a dam. You going to a dam? Oh man. Next to your house for like a mini pick. You gonna dox yourself like that, bro? What is this? Now people are gonna be looking for beavers. They're like, Allie's over there. Allie's over there. He said, go to the dam. The picnic mini. A mini picnic? So no like a quilted or like a checkered quilt to put on the ground. No intricate weaving basket. Instead of a quilt, it's a napkin. It's a red and white checkered napkin. Oh my gosh, almost died in that. Gonna get me killed. What the heck hit me there? Oh my god. I gotta actually pay attention, dude. Oh, it's the fire guy doing that to me, man. Yo, chill out, bro. I can't look at Warden the same way anymore after watching the not most recent, but I recently watched a Dane Cook skit. He was talking about who's the warden. They're having makeup canoodling sessions. Some would call it coitus. Fox potato salad, you know, good point. Isn't he a major joke thief? If we're being honest though, Ali, if we're being honest, I would say that's comedians in a nutshell. I'm not saying they're all thieves, but they borrow a lot of information and bits from other people. People before themselves and other peers. Sometimes they have people even write for them, so they probably didn't give them the proper credit. I think it's a little too easy to call him a joke thief. I'm not saying he never did it, but I feel like his whole reputation got destroyed because of that statement alone. Where I was like, some of his bits, I haven't seen it on anything mainstream before. So I'm curious if it was like someone smaller that he borrowed from and just didn't give credit to. And like when you say something like that, like Drake has ghostwriters or Dane Cook is a joke thief, can you, how would they have any way to disprove it to you that you'll be satisfied if they gave you that specific answer? Not saying it to excuse them if it was the case. I'm more like curious from our standpoint with how like flooded the social media space is. Like, who do you believe? Do you believe the majority who's accusing him because they're like, oh yeah, we got irrefutable proof he's a thief, or he has ghostwriters? He still has to like execute it too. Oh, did you teleport out of the gate? You're pretty crafty. The Drake one is hard, but with Cook, you can see some comedians before him making similar jokes. Yeah. And with that, it's like, I've seen like some comedians go down a route like, oh, let me talk about myself in this situation, XYZ. You're like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty funny and stuff like that. And you hear somebody else with something similar to that. Oh man, that's pretty similar. So like, are they not allowed to make that joke if they executed it pretty well too? Do you think it was like a perfect copy? Or do you think it was like, oh, there's some similar bits in it? I think like for me personally, like even if he did like steal some jokes, I don't know how much that would change for me, like how well he executed the joke he stole. And claiming making a whole career. I don't know, like for me, I don't know which jokes would be like, who came with it first. And other people like, hey, I came up with this verse. I call dibs on that. I think like besides like, what, you patent it? Can you patent jokes? Brilliant speaker. Can you patent jokes? You're like, oh, he plagiarized from me. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, we know how frowned upon plagiarism is. I think there's a strong chance, especially in the mid-2000s, that he possibly borrowed from someone and he didn't properly credit them. Dear God, bro. I think that's a strong potential. It'd be tough, like, if I heard the original joke after hearing his, Oh my god, Jesus. Would that change my perspective? This is pretty similar to what I have right now. A really low roll on that. No attack speed though. He killed John. Do you, Ali, do you recall the people he pulled the jokes from? The lowest roll of damage after 4 seconds from killing an elite. Gotta use another potion. Some were famous. I think because after watching Funny People, the movie, I just have a more, I'm not saying, oh, because I watched this, I have a more broad perspective. It's like, for me personally, it's not too black and white at how I look at a comedian. I think a whole lot of things go into it.
Look all you like.
I think, yeah, you're definitely, you deserve the credit. Could replace damage to enemies by traps. That will always haunt his career, regardless of how successful of a performer he is. Like, all it takes is like somebody saying, "Oh, I ghostwrite for Drake." You're like, "Oh, how credible is that source? If it's true or false?" It's like on the social media landscape, like how do you have to like determine? And then in the grand scheme of things, like, what's the effect of that? 5%. Be able to boost up the crit chance. Oh, this is the max roll crit chance too. I feel like after back to back, his career took off even more. Oh yeah, his career took off. What are the factors though? It became okay to like Drake, because, whereas before he was kind of seen as corny. I think people still see him as corny, but now it's like his charisma and reputation just overpowers it, or that's just like part of him. Like, I still remember when LeBron broke the Kareem record and he had a recorded bit to congratulate him in, and then we found out it was green screen, and he was just hanging out in the club. Like, in all reality, is technically corny, but it's also Drake. You met him during the Degrassi fan tour? Are you serious? What age was he when you met him? This was when he was still Aubrey Graham, or was this when he was Drake? That's pretty cool.
Unusual, but a good addition to my wares.
A debate on that. Would I want a lucky hit on a chance to slow my gloves? I guess damage to injured enemies is fine. So we replaced the lucky hit on this. It's a 7% roll. The maxed roll, 20% of primary resource. I feel like the only thing I've heard about Drake is he's tendency to spend time with 16-year-old fans, then dates them when they're 18. Yeah, still Aubrey. Maybe that's untrue. I think like people were pointing at not even just his fans, but like interactions with other stars, and they were looking like Billie Eilish and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's true or not, but you're like, how do you look at this in our current reality? We know like older performers take advantage of younger performers and then end up hanging out with them in a romantic sense afterwards, so I never know. I think is he in his mid-30s at the moment? I think roll the damage with ranged weapons, I guess. I think like possibly 35, but like yeah, and get sad.
Another happy customer.
I think I recall that it happened like a couple of months ago, but I couldn't tell if it was like Mimi or if it was like legit because it was like clipped up. But I do recall that.
I can break that down.
Oh, I forgot to even re-roll something. Oh yeah. I was supposed to re-roll the lucky hit. The Kevin Hart one with the other guy. What's his name? What's his name?
I'm not ready yet.
Can never know. You're just constantly shaking.
If you want work done, let's get started.
I can't tell if it's because you're shivering or not. Attack speed. That's actually not bad. 8.4. How does that compare to this? This would technically be better, but I would have the aspect to upgrade it. Oh yeah, let me get the next dungeon ready, I guess. Flash flood warning. That makes sense. That does make sense. We could go here, I guess. Also, Cododon, is the mic placement in a good spot? Am I trailing off into the abyss occasionally?
I can't do that here.
It's good, thank you. Alright, perfect. What's the name of the doc you mentioned? Oh, the movie, Funny People. It felt like a documentary on Adam Sandler's life, but it wasn't. It was just like an actual movie. And just, the character Adam Sandler plays is like, aging out comedian that was, diagnosed with, cancer. It was like you were trying to lure us off to sleep with how far away you were. Hey Diddles, how are you doing today? It's great to see you. I hope you're doing well today. Chances are that was the result of being late at night streaming. This with explosion enemy types, or it's kind of like, it's annoying. I'm good, thank you. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty solid. I'm alive. I'm kicking. I'm thriving. Ali, you haven't caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen manga, have you?
Need more time.
No. Have you touched it? Sounds like a weird question for somebody to just walk into if they were just trying to view my channel. We're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. You're like, Fox, why did you feel the need to justify or reiterate what you meant there? I only touch the things you let me touch. Like my heart. Bro. If you call that your heart, then yes. I'm glad you're doing well today, Diddles. Happy Friday to you. Do you have any plans for this evening and the rest of your weekend? Mr. Mix, it's great to see you, bud. Good morning to you. Hope you're safe. Hope you're doing well. Hope your project is treating you well. Mr. Rizgrind, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, bro, being a lurky turkey. You had to wake up early for a meeting. Oh yeah, you're right. How did the meeting go for you? Hope the turkey is treating you well, Mr. Rizgrind. Decided to push through the day after rather than take a nap. I know isn't that a tough feeling to go for? That nap be calling your name too. You're just like, man, it calls. It feels like a siren. You're one of the sailors. It's so hard. Should have been an email. Should have been an email. It was just an update meeting. Should have been an email. Our meetings were where I was previously working at. They go from like something that'll be like maybe 10, 15 minutes to out of nowhere 30 minutes. I mean, people are debating at this point if they should still stay in the meeting. It's technically like we're all on site, but we're also on teams for the meeting to get across.
Need more time.
It needed to be a meeting, but it didn't need to be this early.
Need more time.
Infested villagers. Oh my Lanza. Oh my god. Yeah, you're gone. You missed me with that, buddy. Did you play more Diablo 2?
More time.
Heal out of that. Oh, I'm pretty close to having the ability to upgrade my potions. 3 more levels. Did I take a potion? I don't think I did. I should probably fix that. Or elixir, I mean. Ouch, what the fox was that, bro? Alright, cool guy. Farm Countess and made Leaf and Stealth. Just gotta get another tier for Steel. We also start our meetings with a solid 15 minutes of b-ball talk, so they always run long. Wait, do they know your stance on b-ball? Or is that just people involved that actually enjoy b-ball?
I need more time.
Destroy the eggs before they hatch. I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it. After you and my dad.
Need more time.
Guess you hear the door. Mr. Rizgrind, do you have a favorite comedian?
Need more time.
Whether it's all time or at the moment? I guess we're making our way over here. I wouldn't know personally who would be my favorite comedian at the moment. What is this? Ah, wrong way. You did love Bernie Mac a lot. Was it because of his stand-up or was it because of his show?
I need more time. Need more time.
I think if it was like today's, if I had to describe my favorite comedian today, it wouldn't be like a traditional comedian sense. Like they might have a stand-up at some point, but I might enjoy their style or this comedian more so because of like what they took place in. His memoir? How would you how do you get access to it? Do you just look it up on Amazon, or are you looking at something else? You just Google it? Or does he have a strict book? Okay. Oh my Lanza. I think before he went to prison, I did enjoy a lot of Cat Williams. Stuff. Cat Williams was like pretty solid. I enjoyed Kevin Hart's early stand-up. Not like him like in a small crowd, but more like when he started to begin like his mainstream attempts. Like Grown Little Man, Seriously Funny, Laugh at My Pain. But like he became oversaturated almost after that point and became like tougher to like, because he got to the point where he was just in almost everything because he was so like well liked. You listen to like Dave Chappelle until he decided to die on the hill about the trans people. I enjoy Tom Segura and Bill Burr. Oh man. Kevin Hart was never funny. Did you ever listen to Patrice O'Neal? I don't think I listened to Patrice O'Neal. I also enjoyed some of Mike Epps' older stuff too. Love Bill Burr. What we got here? Critical strikes gain movement speed. Oh, that's kind of crazy. 8% is a terrible roll, though. Like in general, that's pretty crazy. John Peanut is one of your favorites. So make sure. I didn't hear you bark, so I guess nobody's home yet. What made Kevin Hart never funny for you, Mix? Actually, I did enjoy a lot of George Lopez. Like mid 2000s to early 2010s, George Lopez too. Issues aside, so if we go into the realm of the taking out the controversies, that would be tough. That would be tough to say, like, issues aside, and it's like the most the hot stand-up comics. You're just like, oh man. It's tough to say that today and not get raked through the coals. And it's just like, oh no. If issues were like nulled, like they had a immunity, and I got to say who was my favorite Stand up. Man, it would be tough. I mean, if you said, hey, I would leave, I wouldn't watch and say you did me wrong. That's your understanding of the story. How did he ever present the story? The only funny things about Kevin Hart was when other people were making fun of him. Let's see. Try to reflect on some of his jokes. Think about it harder.
Give it over.
Let's see. We're in 11 mil too.
I can break that down.
Tide is open. Am I pressed to do Tide? Am I pressed to do it? Do I just keep doing Nightmare Dungeons? Got 2 points. Two more, and then you get a bonus critical strike. Restore. Oh yeah, that's actually not bad. Skills that critically strike restore 12% of their energy costs. Core skills deal 4% increased critical strike damage too. Every time he'd go inside the NBA, it was great watching him and Charles go back. Yeah, a lot of people's nowadays, you have a preface with issues aside. Issues aside, Joel Goldberg really loved books. How many people will get that reference, Ali? How many people are gonna get that reference? Oh yeah. I said I would reroll the ranks of agility, I think. As long as you do, I guess that's fair. See, the funny thing about hearing Joe Goldberg, like I sometimes reference him right off the bat, but if I hear him or read it out loud, I think of the Goldbergs first. And I think of like what was it? The guy who played in Daddy Daycare or something like that. I don't know. Sometimes people say like something a little too low hanging fruit about Kevin Hart, and it's almost like that's to be expected. So it's not that specific interaction is not as funny, but Kevin Hart roasting that said person sometimes, depending on his style of roasting them, is funnier than what they say about him. In terms of like today. For me, that's the case. Against injured enemies. What is that? What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? Oh, it's 700k. He grew up in Philly. If I were, yeah, you know he heard all those jokes. You know he heard it all. He heard it all. .5 seconds. Oh yeah, I could break down this helmet. Basic skill. 7.6? That's not bad. I would have to re-roll the poison imbuement, even though the willpower is kind of trash. Even though the willpower is kind of cheeks. Let me see what else you get. I didn't even notice that was potential to re-roll there. Cooldown reduction. Is that good? If it didn't have willpower, I'd probably consider this more, huh? Got a decent roll in its attack speed. And you get a cooldown reduction out of that. Oh, willpower is just such a useless stat for me, though. I have to break this down. I think the tough part for me was watching, and this is like, it's easy to have a stance on this, and especially during Pride Month. It would probably be a bit blasphemous to say if you're a support of anybody in the LGBTQ community, but I feel like the toughest part for me when it came to Kevin Hart was when he basically got canceled for his stand-up that he did in the early 2010s, late 2000s. I think it was because of what he said in Seriously Funny about his son. And if his son was in a situation like that. And then I could understand like the uproar about that at the time it took place. But people going back into that information that was already out there and decided to cancel him for it. And he reacted to it. He's like, oh, this offended you for stuff I did 10 plus years ago. I'm sorry about it. He like made like effort to like, I'm not saying rectify it, but like apologize and make an effort to be more educated about why it's still offensive or why it's considered offensive. But it felt like it wasn't enough. And I just didn't know how to feel about that as someone who supported both the LGBTQ community, but also respect the instance of apologizing. Sorry, what he said. He said, basically about if his son told him he was gay or something. His son was like a baby at this time, but he did like an act that was like would be a blurred line, and he's like, if he was in that situation, who is he in this instance? Kevin Hart. And it was basically something like he would be sad if XYZ happened and his son was gay or something like that. And yeah, he said he would throw a dollhouse at his kid or something like that. It wasn't like he would like outright like destroy him or something like that. It was more like he was saying what he said in order to be funny, but at the time it wasn't an issue. But like looking at it in retrospect, and because he was hosting, I think, the Oscars at the time, he was the host for the Oscars. It was the weeks leading up to that. It became an uproar, and to the point that he was pulled away from that position. So yeah. The thing about it, not many people, it was not a rare thing to make that joke. That was just the reality. It's sad to say, that was just the reality at the time. That's not to say, oh, that makes it okay or not okay. That's just what happened. But he was the one that got raked through the coals because he was in a position to be like hosting the Oscars was like pretty like up there for anyone who was like an African American community or just like a comedian, period. Like, oh, I have the ability to host something this prestigious, and given where I started in my background. Oh, he apologized. Yeah. Oh yeah. And people are like, "Oh, you're apologizing because you got caught or something like that." It's like, I mean, apologizing because I was educated that this still offends people more so than like getting caught. Reduce my armor by 7%. Oh god. A lot of stuff used to be able to say all the time and people didn't care. Oh yeah, R1 is a big one, similar to yep. Oh dude. No, it wasn't just flame retardant. In microscopy, there was a part like in my microscopy class for when I was studying forensic science in college. There was a term talking about like the retardation of the light, and like the professor taught it like basically like as straightforward as possible and stuff like that. And like a week or two passed, and he was like kind of like getting us geared up for like the exam. So he was like reviewing over some work, and that was like a term that was an answer to what he was asking. And he was asking basically for that answer. Everybody was quiet, even though we were taught that a couple weeks prior. And we were just like, he was like, really? Nobody knows this? And stuff like that. Hey, Totes. How are you doing, bud? Mix. You missed Vixie earlier today, Totes. You missed Vixie. She was absolutely delightful with her community. I watch a lot of car videos, and you can retard timing for cars too to make spark plugs for a distributor capfire earlier, stuff like that. I was like, yeah, it's interesting. It's absolutely interesting, like how many times we're just like, crap, should I say this? And you're like, oh, you're not talking about someone, so I think it's okay. She has a red panda profile pic right now. Does she really? On her Twitch or on her Discord server? I'm actually curious. Oh yeah, context easily. But if you say it openly, even if you're speaking scientifically about something, you will still get like a strong look coming your way. It's like so tough. And that's just the reality of our world today. Oh, you don't know if you have her Discord? Her Discord's pretty chill. I just love her community though. Fellow Fox lover. It's kind of hard not to love her community. We still got some time with our You have any plans for today, Totes?
Need more time.
Or are you just big chillin'?
Need more time.
Did I really not save you? Wow, I wasted time on that. Man, artillery is so satisfying. Oh my Lanza. So do you ever want to get to a point where you want to challenge Lilith as a party and see how we do and see how clapped up we get? It technically would make it more difficult because she has a health multiplier at that point too. Or would you rather center solo? Was thinking of maybe playing League. A friend wants to get skins from getting to gold, but I have not played, or it defaulted me to bronze 4 or something. Oh, is the split about to end? Also, I saw the new champ is a doge. Oh my god. I don't really care too much about getting to level 100. I feel like that piece of content was there for a challenge, but later on they will add more stuff to make it easier. I think you're right. Ouch. I should have dodged before that. Holy heck, dude. Explosion enemies. Oh, I guess I'll head over here. Alright, I'm coming back. Coming back for y'all. Nah, bring those cheeks here. It looks awful. I hate her art, but the video was cool as Fox. I don't think I've seen her splash art. Oh! Oh, frozen. Oh boy. Oh, we're probably about to die. Oh my god, the poison! Oh, that's hilarious. Holy smokes, dude.
Need more time.
Alright, I just had to get my revenge. We're good to go. Now let's go one shot. Slither. Too bad I sold it like almost a week ago before I knew what it was. Yeah, it was before I knew what it was. Mm-hmm. I guess I could sell. I never sold a unique. But there were some that were just like I'm holding one that's like I don't know what actual use I would get out of this. Unless I like change up my build a little bit. Is this hardcore? Nah, it's not hardcore, Jake. Happy Friday to you, bud. Oh yeah, how do you like the new champ from League?
There's that. I can break that down.
A 75% chance to release an explosion on that. A lucky hit. Probably Buster, terrible because it's very simple. Are you gonna give it a shot, or are you gonna just be like, eh, it's whatever?
Come back if you need the forge.
Yeah, I don't think I sold it, by the way. I think I broke it down. Yeah, more static shiv to abuse. What? Is it an AP or is it AD champ? I didn't even know you still played League. Critical strike damage. AD, you would imagine.
I can't do that here.
Why did I press Y like a fool? I make accounts go up in compliance with the terms and conditions.